Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse Podcast. This is episode number 430. My name is Adam Patterson. With me today, we've got Kevin Rickstraw. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, hi.
This week on the show, we'll be taking a look at Paul Verhoeven's Benedetta. We'll also be going over some we're watching on the watch list and going over this week's new releases in theaters, VOD, and Blu-ray. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Please remember to review us on iTunes if you get a moment. That'd be very helpful. Just one little bit of housekeeping. We're going to be working on the new Saved by the 90s. That's going to be recorded this week and hopefully have it out the following week. So stay tuned for that. Again, I'm going to be consolidating the Saved by the 90s into one feed, so you'll be able to get it on this feed, so the main Film Pulse feed. I'm also planning on starting to roll out our year-end lists. So, yeah, that's always like a huge undertaking, but those, I should be starting to compile those relatively soon. So stay tuned for that on the site. I'll make another announcement once those start dropping or when I have a good idea of when that's going to happen. With that, let's talk about Benedetta. I have a synopsis here. A 17th century nun in Italy suffers from disturbing religious and erotic visions. She is assisted by a companion, and the relationship between the two women develops into a romantic love affair. This is as I mentioned, directed by Paul Verhoeven. Kevin, we'll start it with you. What were your initial impressions of Benedetta?
This one's gonna be pretty quick.
Yeah,
and
me
also,
me too.
Just terrible fodder for a podcast episode because I really don't have much to say. Like, this is just completely average to me. Everything is just like, okay, it's fine. I mean, it's not great, but it's not terrible. I thought that there would be something more here, but this is just, to me, is entirely too long. Much of it is just pretty boring. It feels like a TV movie in terms of like production quality. And I just don't really have all too much to say.
I'm pretty much right there with you on that. I just saw the poster on Letterboxd. That's pretty provocative.
Watch out.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, I was kind of going into this thinking like, oh, this is a Verhoeven. It looks pretty wild because the trailer shows like all these like kind of crazy scenes, and I'm like, oh man, he's gonna go nuts here. This is gonna be some really crazy stuff. But it doesn't. It's not that crazy. And at the end of the day, the themes, the content held within this movie feels very like well-worn. Like, I think there's like a lot of movies that deal with the same subject matter, and I think that they do it in a better way. And this doesn't really add much to the conversation. Like,
no.
And it's just like, I mean, the synopsis pretty much just covers the whole movie. It's, this nun who thinks that she is like married to Jesus or something, and has these like powers, and turns out that she's a lesbian, and then the plague comes and ravages, some people, and it's like there's just not much here. I agree with you that the production value looks a little substandard as well. I mean, most of it just takes place in this, dark, dank convent. So there's not a lot of like visual elements to sort of grab onto here either.
And there's that, which just made it, I think, far more uninteresting than it normally would have been. Because I didn't have anything visually to go on either. And I think another thing, or two things that got me, is one is I thought this was going to be more provocative and more, like you said, like a little bit more bonkers.
And that's the thing.
It is at times, but there's only like flashes of it.
Yeah.
In a movie that's like over 2 hours long. And much of this is just your standard, period drama type stuff. on TV quality, which is just, oh man, much of this is just boring biopic stuff.
It feels like one of those kind of 70s European sexploitation films that sort of masqueraded as a serious period drama. Like that's kind of that's kind of the vibe that I get from it. But the poster, like the Letterboxd poster is fairly provocative, and then like the one that's on IMDb is like violent sex and religious hypocrisy. And then it's like boundary pushing, intoxicating and explosive, wild, pulsating, and vibrantly alive. And it's like, what movie did you guys watch? Because to me,
I didn't get any of that.
I didn't get any of that. I mean, sure, there were some graphic scenes in it, but nothing like out of control. Nothing that you'd be like, oh my God, nothing shocking.
Did they watch The Devils? Are they talking about The Devils? Because I could see that.
Maybe. I don't know.
Because that movie's something else.
I mean, I would say most Verhoeven, like for Verhoeven, looking at his filmography, this movie's pretty tame in comparison to like a lot of his other movies. Correct. So I don't know.
That, like, I didn't 100% understand, or I couldn't quite grasp how I was supposed to take this, because there's moments in this movie. Of course, they're pretty fleeting. And there's not a whole lot of them. But there's moments where it seems like it's like kind of tongue-in-cheek, campy fun. But then large swaths of it are like very, serious, historical, biopic type stuff. Like that's the majority of it. And then you have these like little flash in the pan camp moments. And I'm just like, I don't know what the hell this is supposed to be. It's just, I'm not jiving with it.
Yeah, same. I think that, like I said before, I just feel like we've seen a lot of other movies that deal with, these.
Yeah, any movie that deals with the church and women from from really
any time period.
Yeah,
literally any time period.
Anything involving nuns and sexuality or witchcraft, any of those things, you always get that. Like that examination or exploration of the hypocrisy of the men in charge of the church. This just to me, this was very basic.
Yeah, I think that there were some other elements to it. The the visions that she would have and stuff, and that added a little bit of creativity to it. But as you said before, those moments were so fleeting. Like the snake scene was pretty cool, and there's these little shades of kind of something different, little flourishes there. I'd say Charlotte Rampling was good. She was good in it.
I think that's like the only thing that I can really point to and be like, the performances were pretty good, but yeah. Like, they didn't really wow me either. Everything is just very average to me. It was just, like, competent.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I like it. This one just didn't job, really.
It's just not my thing.
It didn't speak to me. I don't know.
I did not find this to be, like, even like a modicum of, being evocative in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I agree, unfortunately. And that's a shame because I really like almost everything that Verhoeven has done. I really liked Elle, which was his last movie that he released in 2016, and yeah, I'm all about Verhoeven, but this one just didn't really do it for me, unfortunately.
No.
All right, let's go ahead and give it a score. For me, this is pretty much straight down the middle, so I'm gonna say like a 5.
I'm leaning towards that, but maybe more of like a 4.5.
All right, there you have it. I have no idea what the release plan is for this movie. It came out in theaters. I don't know if it's still in theaters or not. It's not currently on VOD to my knowledge, but I would imagine that it should be hitting VOD before the end of the year. Yeah. All right, let's take a look at some of what we've been watching. I believe it's my turn this week. I saw Spencer.
Oh, watch out.
Yeah, this is directed by Pablo Larraín. He did Jackie too, so this is his follow up to Jackie.
Going for it.
Yeah, working on those biopics. This is a very different type of biopic. Now, I don't think I saw Jackie. I'm pretty sure I didn't see it. I don't have it marked in Letterboxd, and I definitely don't remember it. So I'm pretty sure I didn't see it. This one, I wasn't like super excited going into it. Mainly, I watched it for like year-end purposes. I was pretty sure that Kristen Stewart was gonna deliver a really good performance, and I wanted to see that. So that was like really the main reason that I watched this, and I was correct in that assumption. She's great in it. I think she did a really good job as Princess Diana. If you're not familiar with what this is, it's not like a standard biopic. It takes place over one weekend over the holidays, where it's the moment that she decides that she is going to divorce Prince Charles.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot, like, now to be very clear, I don't know anything about Princess Diana, like just super basic stuff. I don't know like all of the scandals. I'm not super familiar with all of that stuff.
No.
But
I know that she was a part of the royal family and she died.
Yeah.
And
she was very beloved.
Yes.
So I don't know all the details and stuff. So I really can't comment on like if this movie is super accurate, if they were taking a lot of creative license with the events. I don't know. But I can say that this movie is way more disturbing than I expected. Like, this movie really got under my skin. Like, I was very disturbed by this movie on several levels. The music, first of all, is fantastic. It's a Johnny Greenwood score.
Yeah.
Holy crap. It probably the best score I've heard all year. And it's another one of those movies where it's sort of like The Humans, where it makes you feel uneasy the whole time, because like she's dealing with, being a royal and like just trying to live her life, just trying to be her own person. And it's just so difficult. And she constantly has these like minders, like people that are like surrounding her in her orbit when she just wants to like be a regular person. And not only that, but she's suffering from like a lot of sort of mental illness issues. She has an eating disorder, which I didn't know about, and she also does some like self-harm type things in this, which are really kind of hard to watch at times. And there's a scene, this is no spoiler or anything, but there's a scene where she eats a pearl necklace, and it is like, man, it just goes right, it's like nails on a chalkboard. She's like chomping on these giant pearls, and it's just like, oh my god, it'll send a shiver down your spine during that scene. But yeah, there's like a lot of hallucinogenic type moments, like where she has like a conversation with Anne Boleyn in it and stuff. So it definitely does not follow your standard biopic path.
Yeah, this is not at all what I was expecting.
Yeah, it is not what I expected either. I liked it. It definitely stuck with me. Like, it is one that I think that will have a lasting impact on you, because it's nothing like what I expected. It's quite good.
I watched Serendipity 2001. Peter Chelsom.
It's the
guess what?
John Cusack, right?
Yeah, Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah.
Comedy. What? I watched this before. At least I was told that I watched this before. My wife was like, "Will you watch Serendipity with me?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll watch that. I've never seen that." She's like, "We watched it like 2 years ago." I was like, I don't remember anything about this movie. And even as we started it, wasn't coming back to me. I was like, I'm pretty sure I never saw this movie. Like, there's no way. And then there's a moment where like it just clicked in my mind. But the weird thing is I only remember certain aspects of this movie, and that is John Corbett is in this movie. He plays the fiance of Kate Beckinsale's character, and he's kind of like this new agey jazz guy. Like he's got the hair, he's got the scarf, just everything that you would think of a white guy playing, like Indian music, that type of thing. That look, you know what I mean? That like Yanni look.
Mm-hmm.
He plays like a Shania, and it's absolutely ridiculous. And as soon as he shows up, he walks out. He does this elaborate like Christmas thing that's just stupid as hell. And then he walks out with his scarf and his hair, and I was like, I remember this. These are the parts of the movie that I remember. Everything with John Corbett. Everything else I didn't remember. But this movie's it's okay. I really like the premise of this. Is the Cusack and Beckinsale meet each other. They have a nice like night together, just hanging out, getting to know each other. And what they do is Kate Beckinsale writes her name inside of a book and her phone number, Love in the Time of Cholera, and sells it to a bookstore. And then Cusack's character writes his name and phone number on a $5 bill that she uses to buy some certs. If you remember certs.
I do remember certs.
And the whole idea is if those things come back into their lives somehow, they come across that $5 bill, he finds that book, then it was meant to be, and they can contact one another. And then, 7 years down the road, or 8 years down the road, they're both in the process of getting married, and they decide to like, oh man, I'm really going to try and find this woman. I'm going to try and find this guy. And it's all rather ridiculous. But the thing that's like kind of shitty this time around that my wife pointed out is usually with romantic comedies, the thing that I don't like about them is there's always like the significant other that gets shit on. Like it's never like single people, finding someone, finding, but usually they try and point this person out as like not being right for them or being a bad person, and they need to be with this other person. But in this movie, John Cusack's fiance is just like a nice person. She's just like really nice. And the thing that's really shitty is for the like wedding gift, she gives him a first edition Love in the Time of Cholera book, which of course has Kate Beckinsale's name and phone number in it. Which John Cusack immediately is like, oh shit, I gotta find her. Fuck my fiance. I gotta find Kate Beckinsale. And it's like, this woman paid attention to this guy for 7 years, going into every single used bookstore in New York City, looking for this book. And she went out of her way to buy that book for him, a first edition, no less. And his immediate reaction was like, oh God, I can't wait to get out of here and go find Kate Beckinsale, even though I'm marrying this woman tomorrow. It's just so awful.
Yeah, it sounds like a dick move.
It's so terrible. And you're just like, well, this guy's a fucking dick. Kate Beckinsale, like, okay, she's getting married to Yanni Light. I mean, you can easily root for that. But on the Cusack side of things, like, I can't root for this guy.
All right, that's Serendipity. Never saw
it.
Yeah. I watched the Silent Night, Deadly Night series, which is on Shudder right now. So the first one's not on Shudder, but all the rest of them are. Now, I already saw the first Silent Night, Deadly Night a couple times, so I was pretty familiar with it. However, I haven't seen any of the sequels. So I figured, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just get into it here. So I watched all of them. Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 is the one that's the meme, the Garbage Day meme. I'm sure that you're familiar with that. You've seen that clip, right?
Oh.
No? The Garbage Day, and he shoots the guy.
No.
Really? Interesting. Yeah. Oh, you should definitely look that up after we record because it's hilarious. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Anyway, Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2 is atrocious. It's, I think, one of the worst movies ever made. Maybe. I mean, it's not like Troll 2 levels or Birdemic or anything, or The Room, but The thing that bothers me, and this isn't the only movie that has done this, where almost the entire movie is just a recap of the first movie. So it's 40 minutes of this movie is just clips of the first movie. So half of it, it's an 88-minute long movie. Half of the movie is just clips from the first movie. So part of me was actually kind of glad because, I forgot a lot of things about the first one. So this was it was a nice little refresher for me. So part 2 is completely atrocious, but it's hilarious in how bad it is. Part 3 is Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, Better Watch Out. This involves a psychic. So it's about a blind woman who has ESP and other special abilities.
Yes.
And somehow she's linked with the killer. So, that's that. I'm not don't have much else to say about that. It's pretty bad. Yeah. Silent Night, Deadly Night 4. Oh yeah, by the way, part 2, it's a different killer. It's the younger brother of the killer in the first one. And then in part 3 it goes back to that original killer, I believe. Part 4 is called Silent Night, Deadly Night 4 Initiation. Now this one doesn't have anything to do with the other 3. It's a completely separate story. And it's directed by Brian Yuzna. And
okay. Interesting.
Yeah. And it is completely bonkers. And it is the best one in the series, I think, because it is just it's way out there. It came out in 1990, so it has a ton of those really awesome Brian Yuzna prosthetics and gore effects.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not a slasher movie, to be clear. This is about a woman who gets wrapped up in a cult of witches, and they have her going through this initiation, which involves her barfing out giant roaches, and there's all of these crazy gross creature effects in it and stuff. It's definitely worth a look, this one. I think it's the best.
That sounds incredible.
It's the best in the series. It has nothing to do with the rest of the movies, but it's definitely worth a look. If you're familiar with Brian Yuzna's stuff, it's on that same level, and Screaming Mad George did the effects work, so it's definitely lots of slime and gross looking worm creatures and stuff like that. So definitely recommend that one. It's the best one in the series. Then Silent Night, Deadly Night 5, The Toy Maker, came out in 1991. This one I don't have much to say about. It's pretty average. Again, this doesn't have anything to do with the other ones. It's its own separate thing. And it's about a toy maker who makes just toys that kill people. And it features a boy who's supposedly mute, and he's really annoying. That one's pretty bad. I can't really recommend that one. And that's the Silent Night, Deadly Night series. 5 of them.
Really? Just 5?
Yep.
It stopped in 91?
Yep. There was a fan-made one that was a part 6, but it was 50 minutes, and I don't recognize fan-made sequels.
Fuck that. I had to put up with that mute kid. I'm not watching part 6.
Exactly. But I would say part 4 is the best one.
Yeah, that sounds actually pretty incredible. I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm gonna watch none of the other ones, just that one. And it sounds like that would be okay.
Yeah, no, it'll be okay. There's some little Easter eggs, but there's no
pick up on them anyways.
Yeah, there's no you'll see you will pick up on them because they're very blatant, but there's no ties to the rest of the series, so it's a completely standalone thing.
Incredible. The one point of interest for you that I forgot to mention about Serendipity is that Leo Fitzpatrick does show up for a little bit.
Oh, nice.
Leo Fitzpatrick.
Love Leo.
I watched another Rob Reiner movie. See if he could redeem himself after the shit fest that was The Princess Bride.
Mm.
So we watched because I'm finally up to speed with everyone else in America, and I have myself an HBO Max subscription.
Oh, nice.
So I checked out Misery's on there from 1990. James Caan, Kathy Bates, classic, Stephen King film adaptation. Finally got to check this out, and this is pretty damn good. I gotta say, like I really, there's nothing to me that I can complain about outside of like the filmmaking itself, like the visual, like the cinematography and stuff. Like it's all standard fare, just straightforward type stuff. But just the story itself, the performances, I love you get a little bit of levity in there with the sheriff and his wife, and just I gotta say, quite good. I really enjoyed Misery. Just a classic. Just has that Stephen King feel.
Mm-hmm. Oh, big time.
Yeah, and Kathy Bates is just next level in this.
Mm-hmm.
I can see why this, just kind of catapulted her.
And this,
she's unhinged.
Yeah, yeah. And this is a movie that you can just rewatch a lot too, and it holds up.
Well, that's the thing is, there was a part of me because this is another movie that I've seen, a lot of the main plot points of,
right?
You know what I mean? Like I know the story of Misery. Yeah. I know about the ankle breaking, the hobbling. I've seen all that stuff. So there was a part of me that's like, how is this movie gonna fare on a first watch in 2021? Where like I know all of the main plot points of this movie, and it still works really, really well.
Yeah, I watched this not too long ago, just a couple years ago. I caught up with it and rewatched it, and I was surprised. I mean, it like Stephen King stuff. I don't know what it is about Stephen King stories, but I feel like there's a timelessness to them where you can just watch them anytime, and they hold up so remarkably well. But man, I love Stephen King adaptations.
There's something about it that's just I find them very comforting.
I agree. I completely agree. There is this like sort of weird level of comfort with his movies or his stories. I don't know. I can't quite place it, but I completely agree with you.
Yeah, and it's just so weird that you're able to get that across different decades, different directors.
Yeah, and like wildly different stories too, like a lot of the stories are, I mean, Stephen King has a pretty creative mind when it comes to different stories, and yeah, he just so good. All right, let's take a look at what we have in theaters this week. Got a couple biggies, two biggies. Nightmare Alley is coming out. That's the new Guillermo del Toro one.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm really excited about this. This looks like it's right up my alley.
Oh my
goodness. Yeah. Well,
wow.
Yeah. We also have Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm interested in this one too. I think this one looks really cool. I like that they brought Doctor Strange into it. And it seems like they're doing like a kind of a Spider-Verse thing where they're bringing in they're combining all of the different Spider-Man franchises. So the Tobey Maguire, the Garfield, and then this one, they're mixing them all together, which I think is a really cool idea. So yeah, interested in checking that out too.
All right.
On VOD this week, let's see, we have Achora on, this is December 14th. We have The Darkness of the Road. Sometimes horror is unseen. So there you go. On the 17th, we have Margaret, Queen of the North. A little bit of a historical drama there. 1402.
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
1402.
Yeah. Great year. Great vintage. Got Last Words coming out. This is a sci-fi drama. Takes place in 2085. So we go from the 1400s to 2085.
Roll right there. That's your double feature.
Mm-hmm. Oof. Sounds like a rough double feature. I'm gonna be honest. We got The Novice coming out. This is one that I actually recommend. It's about a college student who joins a rowing team. I quite liked it, actually. This is quite good. We got Fortress coming out, starring Bruce Willis. This is one of his cash grab titles. I watched a trailer for this just because I was like, is it a remake of, the classic, what's his name? Peter Lambert? Is that his name?
Oh yeah, what is that? What is that guy's name?
It's Lambert. Christopher Lambert.
Yes.
I was wondering if it was a remake of that Fortress, but it is not. And you just from the trailer, you can tell that Willis is just totally phoning it in. Like it's crazy. Anyway, got Swan Song coming out. This is on Apple TV Plus. This is with Mahershala Ali and Naomi Harris. Glenn Close is in there as well. Set in the near future, it's a powerful emotional journey told through the eyes of Cameron, a loving husband and father who's expecting his second child with his wife Poppy. Got Mother Android, that's going to be on Hulu. That's a sci-fi one with Chloe Grace Moretz. That's about it for VOD. On Blu-ray this week, we got The Wolf of Wall Street coming out in 4K. I was in a work meeting this week, and it was like an all hands thing. So everybody in the company was there, and this guy just pops on the call and is like, I just wanted to say like that we're all doing a really great job. And if I may, I want to quote Jordan Belfort. And then he did this like, I don't even know if it was an actual Jordan Belfort quote, but it was so weird. Like this just random guy hijacked this all hands meeting where it's like, top level executives doing presentations and stuff. And then this like random sales guy just pops in. He's like, hey, just want to quickly jump in here. Give a Jordan Belfort quote.
Does that guy still work there?
I hope not. I mean, it was so inappropriate. I mean, it was inappropriate on multiple levels, but I love how people misconstrue movies and people. Like, like the whole Joker thing and Jordan Belfort, how like these finance bros look at him as though he's like some sort of idol or role model when he's not. He was like, he's a convicted felon. Like the dude was a scumbag. Definitely was. I don't know if he still is or not, but I think he still is because he was shilling like shit coins and doing.
I was gonna say he's probably doing. He's
doing pump and dumps on crypto. He was doing pump and dumps on crypto, but he got caught. So I don't know what's going on with him as far as like his legal issues right now, but
he's doing those what is it,
NFTs? I don't know if he jumped in.
Say NTFs for some reason.
I don't know if he jumped in the NFT space, but he is doing crypto stuff now. So
of course he is.
Yeah. Anyway, Let There Be Venom, Let There Be Carnage is coming out on 4K as well. The Kindred from 1987 is getting a Steelbook edition. The Last Duel is coming out on 4K. That one just kind of stealth dropped.
Yeah.
It's crazy because that's the second. Ridley Scott dropped 2 movies this year.
I know.
It's kind of wild.
And they were like back to back too.
Yeah. It's really crazy. Arrow is putting out The Snake Girl and the Silver-Haired Witch from 1968. Mitchell's versus the Machines is getting a Blu-ray release. Let's see. The 1984 version of Dune is coming out on a special edition 4K release, and that's going to be on Arrow as well. The Card Counter is coming out. I would highly recommend that if you haven't seen it yet. It's probably going to be on my top 10. Let's see. Put Your Devil Into My Hell from 1973. Put Your Devil Into My Hell.
Yes.
Ricardo is a
go
playboy
teen.
who's prepared to do anything to go to bed with the wife of the mayor.
Well, now.
Okay. I mean, with a title like that, I feel like I need to explore that movie a little bit more deeply. Anyway, let's see. We got Butch Camp from 1996. Donnie Darko's coming out in 4K. That's also an Arrow release. The Dead Pit from 1989. It looks like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy is coming out on a little box set thing.
God.
Yeah. Yep. South of Heaven from earlier this year. That's the crime thriller with Jason Sudeikis. I wanted to see that, actually. It's kind of interesting.
Forgot all about this movie.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting casting. Shea Wiggum's in there. Let's see what else we have. A lot of stuff. Years of Lead. 5 classic Italian crime thrillers.
Oh, yeah.
Coming out on Arrow.
Oh, my goodness. Are you kidding me?
I think this might be... Actually, you know what? I don't recognize these as previous releases, because with their Giallo one, they were like... They boxed up some previous releases, but these I'm not familiar with. You have Savage 3, Like Rabid Dogs, Colt 38, Highway Racer, and No, The Case is Happily Resolved.
Oh, yes. I've been looking for that one.
No,
because of
the case
it's the title. Come on, are you kidding me?
This looks like an awesome box set. I might have to look into this. It's 5 movies, and I love Italian crime thrillers, and I haven't seen that many of them. I've only seen like maybe a handful, because I usually focus on the Giallo stuff, but every time I end up watching one of these like Polizzi movies, it's just like
they're incredible.
I just have so much fun. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into this. That's about it. What about Criterion's?
We got 2. We have The Learning Tree from 1969, Gordon Parks. Bunch of special features on there, finally getting released. And then we have The Red Shoes from 1948, getting that 4K UHD edition.
Nice. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. You can send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net. You can follow us on Twitter @FilmPulseNet and @FilmPulseKevin. And if you have a moment, consider reviewing us on iTunes. That would be extremely helpful. For Kevin Rakeshaw, my name's Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week.